its own right looks pretty powerful here, right? Against the Omni Spiritbreaker Sven, triple melee heroes that Decay is going to get insane value out of, but also the fact that Tombstone can't really be clicked down by anyone on the final tribe just yet. We may see that mid laner for Chess just be a ranged hero. Luckily than not, try and deal with that Tombstone in the mid game. But you've got a couple of things. Sticky Napalm is obnoxious. Healing Ward is something you have to deal with. The Juggernaut has Spin. You've got Tombstone, Soul Rip, Decay from Undying. The laning presence and laning kill threats from Bald are actually reasonably significant right now. It seems like TFT do have some answers up their sleeve, right? Omni Spiritbreaker, they're tanky. They're not easy to bring down, even with that pressure coming.
Not even Sven as well, right? So you have these three heroes, you have the help of the Warcry, the help of the Heavenly Grace. I think there's lots of ways for you to not only disengage with the Spiritbreaker, but also just save your cores with the pick of the Omnite. I really like Final Tribe's lineup, just because I guess it's just more meta. I understand that sometimes you go off meta like Hippomaniacs just did with the Treant and Phoenix. We don't see that so often anymore, but the Bald picks, they're good in their own right, each and every one of them, but I don't see the synergy that Final Tribe is running here. Like you mentioned, strong lanes, yes, that's probably one of their strongest points. I'd like to see, like you mentioned, probably Lina mid lane. I'd like to see something with a bit of kill potential for the second support. Like Shadow Shaman, even Hell Lion. Something with a stun, ideally. A Rubik I wouldn't mind either.
I think Ancient Apparition wouldn't be bad here, I don't think. Gives you, like, the trouble is you're lacking lockdown in general. You've got Lasso and Light Strike Array, so I agree with you that like a Lion or a Shadow Shaman would be nice. But I think they also want that additional, lane D-push, the threat from global presence. And Ancient Apparition, pretty good against the Omni Sven. But it's a hard pick no matter what you're looking for, no matter what direction you're going. This final pick, if it is position 5, it feels a bit wonky from Bald. Their draft, it hasn't really progressed linearly. They've picked up signature heroes. They've picked up heroes they feel are strong. It doesn't look meta. They've definitely got some elements of strength in there. I just feel like TFT have rounded out their draft and covered a lot more of their bases. Okay, so is this going to be support Bat or support Lina?
Support Lina. You can't put the Lina in the offlane, can you? I mean, even against a Sven off Omnite. This Medusa pick, I guess it gives you a pseudo lockdown, which is particularly good against heroes like Sven or Spiritbreaker that quite literally run at you. So there's that strong point. But you still lack the single target lockdown. You can't really propose. I see much more counter initiation for Bald than initiation. It's really just up to the lasso. If you don't get a good lasso, you're done for. Final Tribe, what's the last pick against the Dusa? What are the options you have that really are strong against her? You have the sniper pick if you want to win the lane against her. Quite hard as well.
Yeah, and you've got lots of bodyguards in front of the sniper.
Oh,
cool.
I love this here.
I mean, I like the sniper idea, right? You've got Omni Spiritbreaker Sven, you've got Grimstroke, you've got Teamfight, you've got bodyguards. Clinks, though, is going to do equally as well, and I think Clinks still does well against the Dusa in lane, but also itemizes much more strongly against her. Diffusal Blade, Aghanim Scepter. Chessie on this Clink's likely going to bring those to the table. And it's also a hero that deals with Tombstone, doesn't care too much about Juggernaut's spin, and with squishy heroes like we were talking about, Jerry on this Lina, Bambo on the Batrider, they can get ripped limb from limb by the Clinks once he pops out on that Skeleton Walk. As long as he's got, a charging Spiritbreaker, or a Grimstroke or a Sven kind of leading the charge, Clinks should have a reasonably good game. I like that last pick for Chessie.
Honestly, yeah, I think the Clinks pick is fantastic. Like you mentioned, Diffusal Blade I think is a core reason why you want to pick it over the Sniper. He's not the best, he's okay against Medusa just because he has range, but if I'm not mistaken, Strafe does not evade Mystic Snake. It just doesn't count as a projectile, so it's kind of annoying in that sense. It's odd what is qualified as projectile or not. I guess a Snake is because it's like a bit shaky and just a bit of a wavy thing, not really a projectile directly. And
I mean, what Ice Frog does is he gets a magic 8-ball, and every spell he's just like, is this a projectile, yes or no? It's like,
I think that's actually how it
answer
works.
hazy, try again later.
That explains a lot of mechanics in Dota. Well, I love that running animation, by the way. What a beautiful screen. Unfortunately, my Dota's not good enough to be able to run both. But it's okay. There we go, let's get started with the game. I like the Clinks as well because I think you can still evade the Mystic Snake with your range, just based on good positioning, so you don't necessarily need the Strafe. The killing potential it offers, as you mentioned, does not care about Blade Fury. He's fantastic at actually dealing with Juggernaut or Lifestealer. Heroes that depend on magic immunity are just nothing to a Clinks. They're just cannon fodder. And he loves dealing with these heroes particularly. I think the new Burning Army is also really good at dealing with heroes like Juggernaut because he has to individually go to each skeleton if you want to destroy them or just straight up run away.
Yeah.
I think this pick is fantastic. A bit off meta though, but I like these things. When you want to think outside the box, sometimes those thoughts, those creative thoughts are rewarded.
Yeah, I think that's the way Dota is now, right? You know, there definitely are these professional draft metas, and they are, you know, kind of solved in some degree. They are like a puzzle that you solve, and you've got answers to everybody's draft, or you have this draft logic where you know what you're going to pick next. But when you start looking at sort of, you know, professional players in their pub games, Clinkz, a month ago, was one of the top picks for a lot of mid laners. They absolutely love this Clinkz. So definitely lots of practice under Chessie's belt. He'll know this hero inside out. And even if it is slightly off meta in terms of, you know, statistically not being picked in high-level competitive play, it's still a hero that a lot of players know the strengths and weaknesses of, and they can slot it into a draft like this, like TFT have done here.
And now let's see the rune fight start up. Era does manage to get that rune, unfortunately. Oh, I think they lost the rune fight actually. In fact, there's double ganks coming in. Yeah, in the bottom lane, they will get this first blood ideally. Bambo, careful, uses the Firefly, tries to run away. Hanskin still trying to catch up to him, but unfortunately, he's not able to. No boots or anything on the Spirit Breaker.
Escaping on 50 HP, no big deal.
And I miss watching this player. I remember when he used to play on like a professional Dota consistently, and you used to watch him do the craziest thing, and you're like, is this a bad play? Is this a good play? I'm not sure. Like, you don't know until it's done what Bambo just did.
Like back when Broodmother was an offlaner, he was one of the first players to show off that I'm going to go put my web in bot lane, and I'm actually going to go top lane and, you know, sneakily play around with some mind games. You know, Bambo is a godly mind gamer. See how he does in his bot lane. Bat and Lina up against Grim. Spirit Breaker Sven. Era already taking a bit of a pounding there. But should be fine if they want to turn around and fight into Jerry, because Lina is far forward and she's very squishy.
Yeah, but so is Bambo. Oh, Lifestrike Array very well used though here right now to zone him out. And the thing is, you force the level 1 charge of Spirit Breaker. He has kill potential, but not much harass in lane without the Greater Bash or Bulldoze. He doesn't have Orb of Venom either to chase after a hero. So right now, you're just kind of... Yeah, you're playing a bit more... just kind of harassing with the auto attacks and whatnot. Can't quite finish off either of these two heroes. Lightstrike Array is fantastic at stopping that charge as well. However, you are forcing a tri-lane down bottom and leaving the Omnight completely alone up top, so that's pretty much a free lane for Bald.
Yeah, and this allows Uxin on this Undying to spam out that decay, stack up some strength. Also did a really nice pull across. Jibate grabbed the creep wave to try and drag the dire wave down towards his, you know, between tier 1 and tier 2 on his lane. But nice little decay play from the Undying. Grabbed the large camp, pulled it through, and made sure the Omni Knight doesn't get any free experience, still being harassed and zoned back. He tries to battle into that lane.
Sorry, I was watching the bottom lane, but we're constantly seeing the Inkswell plus charge combo. I think we're trying to see it again. Inkswell, there we go. And this time I think Bambo will actually die. They have the Inkswell with almost full duration. They get it. Handskin, high roll as well on that damage, and ensures the kill onto Bambo. Finally, he's gonna go down.
Yeah, level 1 Batrider. Level 2 on the Grim, on the Spirit Breaker, on the Sven, sorry. Spirit Breaker is still level 1, but closing in on 2. While Lina has hit 2, Jerry is here with the Fiery Soul and the LSA, putting a bit of damage in towards Frost, but has to be ever so wary about his positioning, because Spirit Breaker has gone home, buys an Orb of Venom, and immediately charges back towards that bottom lane.
And can they get... I think they're trying to... Look, Era's actually getting a bit of distance between him and Jerry, so he can get the Inkswell off again. And I think he will. There's a Stormhammer. Where's the Inkswell? There we go. Handskin. Another time for this combo. And it's effective. Even if you don't get the kill, it's just super powerful. This time Bambo's actually forced to be aggressive, just to, you know, force out the aggression from TFT. But he might just kill Frost. Firefly's about to end. Frost here is to get another tangle. There's the charge, giving him some space. Stormhammer still available. Can hit Jerry with the Stormhammer. Doesn't get hit by the Lightstrike Array. Bambo's still trying to finish off Frost. Frost so close to death. They stacks. They need another sticky napalm. There it is. Stacks with a sticky napalm up to 9. He's way too slow. They kill Jerry in the backlines, but we're concentrating on Frost here. Can they save him? The last auto attack will do the trick. But in exchange, I think Bambo might just die here. Hit him with a stroke of fate. Magic Stick completely nullified, and a lucky Greater Bash ensures this turns into a 2-for-1. TFT supports, man. Hanska and Hera are winning this lane right now for Frost.
Absolutely, but you can see why they need both of them here, right? Yep. Definitely not an easy lane for the Sven Grim to deal with a Bat Lina, so Hanskin absolutely required. And with that Orb of Venom he picked up, and the boots, he is so speedy, he zoned out Jerry really nicely, allowing Frost to survive, get to the side shot, buy boots and Magic Stick, and barely die to Bambo as they charge mid. Unlikely to get a kill here on Stormstormer, just a bit of pressure towards the Medusa, and keep Jerry out of this lane, because Chessie was starting to get harassed quite significantly.
Yeah, Mystic Slink's annoying now, going for Jerry. They have Strafe ready. Ah, your illusions do nothing against this Clinks. Uses the Roshan for cover, it's not going to be useful at all. You miss a Light Strike Array, they get Chessie a free kill. It might not be in the enemy mid laner, but you still get the kill on the support.
Omni bullied back to his tier 1 at top lane. This Undying is just sitting on his face. Can't go anywhere. And bounty runes are spawning in 20 seconds, so very important to keep our eyes open. Especially bot lane, where it looks like they'll try and force Bambo out of lane, maybe try and get a kill here.
Inkswell combo incoming. There we go. And this time it's level 2 Inkswell, so that's a longer stun. Bambo cannot even fly himself away. Man, this Spiritbreaker Grimstroke is disgusting. You can't do anything against him.
And there's your triple bounty rune. Double down bottom, Jibe gets one top on that Omni Knight. Beats out the Undying.
That's the real win, man. Shiba getting the rune there, despite being harassed constantly by the Undying. Yeah,
he's got 8... Okay, now he has 10 CS, my apologies. That Purification gets him an additional couple. But he's, level 4, closing on level 5, doing pretty well for himself in that top lane in a 1 versus 2. So Omni Knight is going to come out of this laning stage feeling pretty comfortable and pretty confident about himself. I don't think the same can be said about Bald. Bambo's definitely had a struggle of a lane. Jerry, you can feel that he's been moving around from bot to mid, thinking about going top, because this Lina is the hero, the position 4 hero that has to alleviate pressure, the one that's meant to be able to turn around fights, and they bring Undying down bottom to deal with Frost. Difficult to kill, to grab under that tier 1 tower though. With the help from Grimstroke and the Spirit Breaker, they connect onto the bat, the Stormhammer is there. Soul Rip is a big heal though from Ixen as they try and commit with the Clinks arriving. Chessie's burning army goes to work. LSA will stop the advance, but Ixen's got. On the right hand side, the Undying drops, and on the left hand side, Lina falls. 2 quick kills as TFT respond very speedily.
Yeah, TFT gets a really nice counter kill there because of the rotation of the Clinks, and this is exactly how you want to play the Clinks as well. You were saying Chessie probably has a lot of practice on this hero, and it shows. Once you get the Burning Army, immediately level 6, go and gank. That always use Burning Army off cooldown, take that quick fight, and try to take advantage of this hero's insane pressure in the early game. Down bottom though, this time with Clinks without TP, they're going to harass Frost. Gets a Magic Stick though, ready with the Stormhammer, and Bambo will not get away from the Sync Soul yet again. Lina is blown up, and Bambo will have to face the wrath of an Omnet as well, who comes in here just to help out his team a bit.
Nora.
They will find a EXN. There's Stroke of Fate as well. There's the charge. EIXN. How do you run away from this? You just can't. Nora, too powerful. Hanskin with a triple kill and a mega kill streak for him.
504 on his Spirit Breaker now, all thanks to Inkswell. Era has it up to level 2. Doesn't even bother for the points in Phantom's Embrace, just wants that extra damage, extra stun from Stroke. And Swell. Bambo 1-4 and 0 on this Batrider bottom. Jerry 0-4-0. It is 10-1. But Medusa freely farming in the jungle. So at the very least, they are creating space for the Stormer Dusa, who's fallen back into the jungle to farm through, the triple camp over there. As the double Wraithband and the treads. No Quelling Blade or anything. Is on the dire side, so doesn't necessarily need it to cut through trees to gain access to jungle. But they've also got Gork farming through stacks. This Juggernaut, 60 CS, 24 denies, net worth up to almost 4,000. So, the supports and the offlaner for Team Ball not doing particularly well. The carries most certainly are.
Sorry, just checking to make sure that the stream is going fine. Yeah, okay, give me a second, guys. Yeah.
That's fine. Jesse, level 7.5. Moving towards the treads, picks up that casual Blightstone. A regen rune for Ixen. It's going to be popped out by the searing, burning, flaming arrows. And there's a Stroke of Fate to allow Chessie to get the finish. Look at this, the charge coming in. Hanskin steals the creep. Takes down the troll away from Stormstormer. Shoves Medusa out of that jungle now. They're trying to look for any potential wards or D-wards they can get going. This feels good for TFT now. They've abandoned bottom lane. Sven's in the triangle. He's got the triple camp. He's got his God Strength. Hand of Midas about 1,000 gold away. Omni Knight being helped out by Grimstroke, but Omni's going to go defend bot tower. He's one of the few heroes that can actually defend against the bat. With that Heavenly Grace, he can get rid of the sticky napalms and not worry too much about Bambo's presence. But I feel like right now, Team Bald, the onus is on them to defend their high grounds, defend their jungles. You're going to have incursions like this where Hanskin just charges onto your Medusa, gives away an Observer Ward, which they do plop down a sentry and deward. Chessie should know this. They just dewarded this area, so the sentry is very obvious, but he walked into it regardless as they look for the Medusa. Burning Army with a charge. That damage is absolutely insane.
Yeah,
Medusa was there a second ago, and she's gone now. The Inkswell on to the Undying. Gork is ready with a spin. Wand at the ready as well, but no mana for an Omni Slash. And a quick TP out will secure the safety of that Grimstroke, while Spirit Breaker can just charge back home.
No mana for the lasso either there on Bambo. We'll say, I think that was a very good decision making there by Air. Does not doubt it for a second. He's a TP back home, but overstay is welcome. Just, fights until he's not needed anymore, and then immediately goes away. Steal of the room by Hanskin. Hanskin not running into those three heroes. They're going for the Sven instead. We need a charge here to save your carry. Oh no, he's tanking quite a lot, but how long can he last? 8 charge of the magic stick, not even going to use it. Acknowledging his death instead. Hanskin comes a bit late to the party, and it's going to get hit by the Light Strike Array. They can still finish him off now. Hanskin in trouble. Here's the TP from the Omni Knight. Might give some space for Hanskin to recharge again if he just has vision of Jerry. He's close to it. Heavenly Grace on him. He's considering it. There we go. On to Jerry. There's 3 points into that Greater Bash. He's just hoping to push Jerry back or at least get some of the extra damage. Look at that Orb of Venom doing work. Stroke of Fate to snipe. They missed the snipe, but Hanskin will still get this kill just based on auto attacks alone. He has the charge to complete it. Needs to charge immediately. Sticky Napalm is starting to stack. Hanskin gives up his life for this kill. This time still no lasso or way to cancel this TP. He's out of here.
Remember in the draft when we said they have no stuns apart from LSA and Lasso? Yeah, it's still that way. No consistent way to cancel TPs. I have to say, I think the Sven maybe could have survived if he popped his 9-stick charges and tried to walk it off, because Spirit Breaker and Grimstroke were both readily available to try and turn that around. But it was definitely a close call for the Sven. And either way, he's back in the jungle farming brilliantly to keep that net worth accelerating.
Yeah, that's let's talk to the net worth. We'll see that the Juggernaut's actually leading. Gork is doing a very good job here this game of maintaining himself quite high in net worth. We haven't seen still any ganks from the Clinks towards Gork yet. We're seeing this rotation now. TFT acknowledges this. There they go with the Inkswell stun. They have the silence anyway. There's no way you can spin yourself away. And now TFT starting to put pressure on this top lane as well. Always as a unit, always the combination. In the middle lane, Bambo tries to get a kill against the Clinks, but fighting against a burning army. Yes, he will murder Chessie, but they can get a counter kill from this. Instead, it's the neutrals that murder him. The dragons not making this easy for him at all.
Man, that one skeleton gets a hit up, and the Ancients actually finish him off. I can't believe it. Poor Bambo makes a godly play and then gets done in by some goddamn Ancients. Nasty stuff. The death of Juggernaut top, it's unfortunate. So the team there leave him alone because he has level 4 spin, 10-1 charges, drums phase. Juggernaut feels close to unkillable because there's, only one spin TP cancelling stun, the Nether Strike. And outside of that, he feels pretty comfortable just to be able to walk it off. But the timing of the Bulldoze and Inkswell with the bash straight on top of him was really nicely timed there from TFT to collapse onto the Jug and get that kill so speedily. TFT playing very well as a team, moving from lane to lane, claiming objectives, pressuring towers as tier 1 top, and then middle fall. But farm-wise, Juggernaut and Dusa, they are racing to the top of that board. Medusa's been killed once by that Clinks, but apart from that, reasonably untouched. And Spirit Breaker and the Grimstroke looks like they find the Undying alone in the jungle.
Yeah, that Undying dying, not that big a deal to be honest for Bald, as long as he creates some space for them. And the Deuce is actually farming, taking over the duties that Gork has been doing until now. Stormer, we needing that worth charge. So despite all these kills by TFT, yes, their farm is a bit more divided, so they have equal farm a lot of their heroes. Bad Rider has actually been kind of crushed this game, but they still are not able to match the farm of the top 2 cores this game, both being from Bald. Let's see though, Hanskin, he gets that Inkswell stun. But they stun at the Clinks. They have the Burning Army still ready for Chessie. He wants to fight this. There's the lasso. But Chessie in the backlines hit by the Laguna Blades. Quite not dead yet. Burning Army hurting everyone. I don't think Jesse can last too long. Heavenly Grace to give him a bit of space, and this will allow him to get back home. Shibin, now the target. They need to slow him down somehow. They have Sticky Napalm on him. Only 2 stacks, now 3. Gork, doubting about going further, decides to just stay for the tier 1 instead. No Burning Army here to fight. No God Strength either. Are you really considering this for now? Just to stun on the Undying. YXN will die to Jesse alone in the trees. Gets a tombstone off before he dies, though. They need to destroy that tombstone quickly, and they will. As Gork spins himself to safety, hopefully. Bambo might not be so lucky. The charge keeps him in place. Goodbye, Bambo.
Yeah, they... Excuse me. Yeah, they desperately wanted that mid-tier 1 tower, and they spam pinged it out. Medusa said go for it. They couldn't quite dive for any more kills. It was nice bodyguarding by the Sven, keeping his body next to the Omni Knight, so the Omni Slash wouldn't get too much value, and that's why Gork was fake pumping it, thinking about it, considered, and then decided not to. That fight all starts out again with a charge, an Inkswell, a nice flame break from Bambo disengages, but that Mystic Snake stops the Spirit Breaker from getting another strike off, which could have potentially found an initial kill for TFT inside the Burning Army. And as soon as that happens, you see Team Bald. They are, emboldened by the aggression, and suddenly this Medusa, ready to fight, just sprints on forward, and then they stuck around too long. They pulled the classic pub player strat of getting aggressive, getting some kills, feeling powerful, and then realizing that the respawn timers 15 minutes in aren't actually that long, and TFT fully bunkered up and defended that tier 1 mid.
Yeah, even without Burning Army, right? Chessie just got a really good position, got the strafe, and that's the power of the old Clinks, even without his ultimate. Going straight for the Ags now to get that extra damage out. I'm assuming after this we'll see the Diffusal Blade as well that Clinks loves to get. Some players really vouch for that Ags, others like to go for transitional items first. Here we only have a medallion to transition into the Ags, but still quite a lot of damage from the Clinks.
Speaking of item builds, Clinks I think is perfectly reasonable where he's going for. An interesting one is Bambo, the Tranquils into Blink. No Boots of Travel, no drums. Going for more of an old school build than the new map maneuverability build we so often see on Bat. So feeling the need there for Bambo to be the absolute playmaker. You've got Jug and Medusa who are the damage dealers. They are the actual cause. Bambo feels like he's more of a position 4 here, and then you have 2 position 5s in the Lena and the Undying.
Okay,
see how that works out for them.
Another strike, bring him back. Now with the Storm Hammer. They don't even need that Soulbind. That was Burning Army as well. Wasted, I would say, there, because they just got the quick kill on Stormer, but just worth it to get that kill on the enemy Medusa. Like, you gotta reduce that net worth a bit. And now you can even get a free objective because of it.
Yeah, tier 2 top, nice and simple. It was more of like a zoning army, right? You don't see up on high ground, and if you put the Burning Army like he did across the tier 1, you stop any pushes coming forward to try and defend the Medusa or catch any cross kills. Especially when Tombstone is down on that high ground. So TFT get the top tower, they transition back bot, so Clinks can shove out in the lane, farm jungle as he falls back. Roshan most certainly should be the next objective that these teams eye up, though. Feel like the Radiant in a good position to grab the Spirit Breaker.
He uses the Bulldoze right as he's put onto the high ground. Bambo playing around with the 4 Spirit Breakers. And he's going for full traditional here. No Rod of Atos, no Yule Scepter, 4 staff. So, the classic Bat Rider. Blink Dagger, Tranquils, 4 staff.
Yeah, it was always an exceptionally good build against heroes like Juggernaut, Lifestealer, Sven, Dragon Knight, these tanky frontline heroes that go up to an objective and have some way of just beating down a tower, and you can jump in, drag them behind your tower into the waiting arms of your teammates, try and dislocate, discombobulate this TFT side with a Bambo Bat Rider.
That vocabulary, yeah, I agree. Can you do that is the question, though, because right now with the Heavenly Grace it becomes much more difficult to get this fan that easily. Clinks also in the backline is going to be annoying, and once Clinks get the Diffusal Blade, it becomes even harder for Paul to try to get these initiations. But we remarked this weakness in their draft. Like, they lack the extra catch besides the last one. Talk about catch, though, they will catch Gork, and I think Gork is going to be decimated. No chance to even blink. Burning Army ready. Always fighting the moment Burning Army gets off cooldown. That, like, literally was on cooldown. Sorry, it was off cooldown for 2 seconds, maybe.
Is Jerry dead as well?
Yeah, another strike. They think there's a ward here because they saw him, but no. Actually, I don't know how they saw Jerry, to be honest with you.
That one tree is cut. I think they think they just caught a glimpse of him through that one tree gap.
They don't even notice that because they just, put the They pinged this, I'm assuming, because they think there's a ward there.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume there's a high ground ward as well.
Yeah, me too.
So
Especially in the heat of the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Deuce is out on the map, shoves out bottom lane, easily defended by the Omni Knight. Frost. With a double damage rune, maybe they could consider Roshan here. Difficult proposition, though, with Hansken, Era, and Jibbe both so far, or all three of them so far away from the pit. Definitely do see the struggles of Juggernaut against Sven, though. That immediate burst damage, and you mentioned the Heavenly Grace from the Omni Knight. It's there to dispel off the lasso, but it's also there to keep that Sven out of harm's reach against the limited stuns that Bald have.
You can just put it on beforehand, right? It still affects him with the status resistance. Like, it's good enough sometimes. Yes, the Force Staff gives you the ability to not care so much about status resistance, because you can just Force Staff him and at least put him out of position, but... Like, you have Bulldoze so Spiritbreaker can't be caught. The Heavenly Grace, so at least Clinks or Sven can't be caught, right? It's a tough game to be Bald, because you don't have the stuns to actually make use of this. And status resistance here makes it so that your 1 or 2 stuns in this game are essentially useless.
Yeah, Jerry doesn't feel like he's had a game.
No.
Ixon's Undying, good early laning stage, but this is how the hero is. Undying does start to suffer, you know, his talents got changed. No longer can he transition into that mid-game beast with Tombstone duration and Tombstone attack to destroy. It is much more of an arduous battle for this Undying to stay relevant. And that's like I was saying, they've basically got 2 POS 5s. Bambo, the position 4 playmaker, and then Medusa and Juggernaut sucking up the 1, 2, and 3 rolls farm distribution as best they can. But here comes TFT.
Okay, with Hansken taking Medusa. Hansken realized this might be not the best fight. Lasso from behind, completely cancelled by the Heavenly Grace, and they find the better. Bambo, even with that high ground, is not going to protect you against Sven's large sword. Neither will Gork. He's going to go down immediately to Frost. And now Jerry, the next target, charge, ensuring this kill will surely happen. Jerry still having no game, spending more time dead than alive at this point. The domination by TFT is clear.
So they kill the Bald Rider, they kill the Baldernaut, and they kill Lena Baldverse. 3 heroes down. TFT gonna find a 4th.
Is this just Hansken fighting it alone? Yeah, if Hansken can solo kill this Undying, this is crazy. No way! He doesn't even use the medallion. TP's in the face of danger. Yeah, flame break him. Good job. Wow, the tips. Hansken.
My goodness.
Oh my god. He didn't even use medallion there. He didn't need it. He was like, nah, man, I'm just gonna... Like, it was just an attack on their dignity at this point.
Gonna punch, punch, punch.
Exactly.
Kills. He's charging... Where's he off to? Charging Deucer. There's no one to help him, unfortunately. He'll have to give that one up. We've got our Ags on the Clinks. No Diffusal Blade, which interests me. Going for Hurricane Pike now. Guess he opting not to go for the Diff Blade, even against the Deucer.
I don't know. I like the Diff Blade build. In general, I think it's one of the best items for Clinks. I think he's one of the best Diffusal Blade users, so... Especially against the Deuce, I'm surprised about this, to be honest with you. I get the mobility the Hurricane Pike provides, though. I understand why you would want to go for that. Dragon Lance is also... It also combines better with your Skellies, or your Burning Army, what you want to call it.
Yeah, you want to be able to outrange Tombstone, Medusa, try and outrange the Juggernaut to kite him. Dragon Lance gives you some nice tankiness as well. It's a pretty good all-round item.
Yeah.
Cheaper than Diff Blade as well.
And it makes sense that the Diffusal Blade, I mean, it's often picked up as a transitional item towards the Ags, right? If you pick it up afterwards, like, the later you pick up that item, the less of a amazing stat stick it becomes. Because the reason Clinks likes it so much is because it gives you catch, great stats, and, you know, a bit of extra damage as well with the mana break. We'll see. I mean, there's still a fair amount of game. He got a pretty nice Ags timing, actually. 22 minutes in. Okay. We're seeing a rotation here by Bald. 4 of them in the top lane, hoping to catch out this Sven.
We still haven't seen too many smokes from Bald, and that's definitely a challenge with their draft. They don't have heroes that utilize smoke particularly well. Undying, Lena, they are lane players. They're not really smoke rotators. Batrider, probably one of the few heroes that can. But top, they've got the charge, the Nether Strike, the Inkswell, the Chain Stun, and the Death of Gorg.
Well, this is like the 3rd, 4th time this happens to poor Gork. It's just so easy to catch him. Sometimes he's out of position, but most of the time it's just, you're fighting against a Spirit Breaker Grimstroke. Sven. It's very difficult to try to contest that. You have to Battle Fury in time, but it's near impossible. Because they also using very good angled initiations here, TFT, and I don't think they can actually defend this. Bald is just going to let this Roshan go.
Yeah, 10k lead, 26-5. First Aegis in the hands of Sven with an Assault Cuirass, Echo, Blink. Level 3 God Strength in 60 seconds. Dangerous times ahead for Gork and Stormstormer. Still haven't transitioned into that full Mjolnir for the Juggernaut yet. Gork is starting to lag behind as Stormstormer continues accelerating decently well. Skadi Manta into the Butterfly next. Does have, at least now, the Talisman. That evasion can handle the Sven and the Clinks to some extent.
What are the options here for Bald? Is it just wait out this game until your Dusa and Juggernaut are farmed enough to have impact? Because I don't think their pickoff potential is...
It's hard. It's like defend high ground, push out. Like, you've got to do so much. And so much has to go right for you.
Bambo, I think, is going to die just to the Burning Army. Nice. The Force Staff will save him. Never mind. But they're continuing this fight. Chessie definitely wants Bambo. You can see it in his eyes. The bloodthirst. There we go. Bambo TPs. It does nothing as Hanskin comes back in. Omni slash onto Hanskin. Tanks the whole thing. Even survives this. But no. He's going to end up going down. But Gork will pay with his life for this. They have to avenge their dead Spirit Breaker. That's Gork gone. As they want to continue further. EIXN has become a ward. He's role-playing here. Guys, no, I swear. I'm not a hero anymore. Oh, no. Fight between the supports. Fight the death. They're like... They're actually confused. Why is EIXN hanging out here? What a play.
And it all starts with a charge. All starts with a charge. That's all it takes. Hanskin goes in. He sucks Team Bald into a fight that they can't handle. Kill off that Batrider. And that's why it's so difficult as Team Bald, because you're asking what do they need to do. They need to push out like all 3 lanes so they're at the river. They cannot allow TFT to come to their actual base high ground. But then they also need to hold the plateaus and try and hold ramps so they can fight from high ground down to low ground and not get caught. They need to de-ward all of these Radiant Observer wards because all these fights are starting with a charge, Inkswell, a Blink Sven, a Clinks scouting you invis. So you're asking what they need to do, and they just everything. They need to do bloody everything. The draft has not allowed them a situation in which they can play comfortably. They are always, on their tiptoes, on the edge of their seat, kind of just waiting for a Clinks to appear. Because they can't afford infinite sentries. They can't afford infinite dewarding. There are 2 obs currently watching Team Bald walk down this mid lane. They see TFT see everything coming. They know what's happening, and they're just going to run straight towards them. Oh, no, they're not going to find anyone. I think another role playing is the ward here. I think EIXN thinks he doesn't breathe. It's like he's playing against a T-Rex. Oh no, he shot himself. They're gonna find the Medusa though. Stormer alone. In a really bad position, by the way. And there's just skeletons surrounding him everywhere. Is he actually gonna get out of here? Wow. Thanks for that ultimate. EIXN sacrifices his life, not even meaning to. Frost coming close. They just don't have mana for that Stormhammer. They don't need it. There's Chessie. They chase him down. EIXN immediate dieback. And the rest of Team Bald is now coming in. They're hoping for the other strike onto Gork. Gork realizes this is happening. So he spins away. Jerry and Bambo have cut middle wave. They put a bit of pressure on the mid-tier 1. But your base is under siege. The onslaught is coming. TFT are ready to break high ground and maybe just take this tier 3 in lane of Rax.
Now there's Bambo waiting to potentially initiate here with Flink zoning them out with these skeletons. Chessie has the strafe. He wants to destroy this tower, but he's not even wasting it. No need. Skelly's still alive, by the way, Stormstormer. He's just annoying you for now. They actually managed to deny that tower. Good job. At least, at least they get that to their name.
Goodness.
They have to do everything. I agree. Bald needs to get a fantastic initiation with it. They just need Dusa to be god at this point. Delay this game to the point that Dusa and Gork are just both incredibly farmed and then win with them by just being unkillable.
But even then, I feel like TFT have enough answers to be able to chain stun Dusa pre-Stone Gaze, and then they've got enough disengage through Omni Spirit Breaker to be able to mess with Stone Gaze, and Juggernaut just doesn't bring enough. He's got Mjolnir and drums. He doesn't do enough damage, but he's also not tanky enough, right? The drum's the only real stat item. I guess wand kind of counts, guys. Yeah, sure, let's be real here. But he's just like 1600 HP against a Sven with level 3 God Strength, AC, Echo Saber, and an MKB in his backpack right now. He dies in a couple of hits. It is not a good look. Medusa's even a similar story. She's got 2k HP with a 1600 mana pool, 25 armor. But when you're soul bound up and you've got a burning army on you and you can't move because you're stuck in the mud, it's not a good look.
No, it's a very difficult fight to take, especially if your smoke just wander around mindlessly and your support dies because he's leading the charge. Now Bambo's turn to die, or perhaps they're gonna ignore him. They were going straight. There we go. There we go. Bambo now in trouble. Gonna be killed off. EIXN. Honestly, he's just an afterthought at this point. They kill him by accident.
Bambo turns to force the Spirit Breaker to break the charge, but by turning, he kills himself and has to buy back. Oh dear.
Oh dear. What's the plan now? Oh, stun. Stormstormer. Also in a pickle. I don't think he's getting out of this one alive. They even Heaven's Halberd him.
Like, where does the Medusa... Like, she's tanky, but against the Sven, not tanky enough. Her mana pool disappears in, like, 3 seconds. 6 hits in. Frost annihilates the Medusa. GG is called. TFT. Another win under their belt.
That is... Well... just like an absolute domination by the final tribe. I mean, it makes sense. These guys are one of the most consistent teams in the EU. These guys have played together for a while. You can notice their coordination. But honestly, I would have guessed this win just because of the draft. I think the draft with the final tribe was considerably superior.
Definitely feels that way. 2 more games to go. Unless there are tiebreakers, of course. Our next match, Chaos EC against Aachen City. Another incredibly important one for the group stage, as Chaos... they are on the brink, you know, they're very close. They are just behind the final tribe, TFT now at 4 and 2, with Chaos at 3 and 3. It's getting pretty spooky in the middle of that table, as Hippomaniacs, it appears, have already qualified for the playoffs, no questions asked. 6-8-2 have been relegated and annihilated. Bald there with another loss, I believe, are still not mathematically out. I think they can still...
No, because they only have 1 more game, so they can only get 2 wins.
Oh, they can't get to 3 wins. You are absolutely right. So Bald now out. So we're looking at Team Anti-Mage, Chaos, Final Tribe, Singularity, and Aachen City to take potentially the last 3 spots for the playoffs.
Hippomaniacs well deserved to be the first to qualify, honestly. Let's see.
Super sick.
Let's see what we get in the next match between, as you mentioned, Chaos and Aachen. Quite an exciting matchup. You cast for today, Dswordfish and Gareth. Enjoy some tunes while we wait for this next match to start up. Until then, guys.